And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to IPLCast 36, broadcasting to you singularly now from the I have no idea what kind of weather it thinks it is, but it is certainly hot Sydney. Um,
It
uh,
hasn't been as bad as the start of the week.
no, the start of the
That
week
was
was
awful.
great. It was nice and cool. Last night was nice and cool, and got to relax. And this morning, it's like
No,
we're
because
on the
like
clouds.
Monday and Tuesday and the weekend was incredibly hot, and
Mm.
then Wednesday we had a cold snap, or like a summer cold snap. So it's not quite a cold snap, but it was colder.
I
So it's
would
been
like the
nice
cold snap to
since.
continue.
Yes,
I would prefer it to stay cold.
it's supposed to be
Um,
good until next Monday.
I was glistening. I was glistening in sweat about half an hour before the show started. So if you had tuned
Yeah.
in to hang out beforehand, I was probably a little moist. But yeah, now doing better. Rob can't join us today, unfortunately. But Mr. Boop, um, Mr. Boop is up there, always watching, always
We don't have
watching.
anyone with us today.
Yeah, I know. It's just really surprising. It's. We should
We're
really
very
check
lonely.
ahead. Yeah, I know. Ree was meant to be here, but I don't know what happened, so we'll just have to proceed without him, which is good, as you'll see why when we get to IPL news. Um, but anyway, this is Gito, joined by Megan.
Hello.
Join the show again. Hello. I've stopped the nice flowery introductions. Let's get straight to external headlines.
Hooper distribution. The United Kingdom is set to receive distribution codes for Hooper. The codes can be acquired at game stores starting October 23rd until November 5th. Germany will receive Hooper codes at GameStop stores between 16th of October and 7th of November. The Netherlands will receive Hooper during the First Look Festival weekend of October 10 and 11. French and Spanish dates will soon be announced. TPCI has also confirmed that the US will receive their own distribution of Hooper later this year, and I expect Australia will follow suit. Hooper can be obtained on both XY and ORES versions.
So does that mean each game has we can have a go on each game to try and get it?
If we can get the codes, I reckon we can get a Hooper on each one. So we can have up to 4 Hooper
Oh man, oh
if we can get the
man,
codes.
I'm going to have so many hoopa. I don't know what to do with it. Okay, cool. They're finally releasing that out. All we're waiting for is Volcanion to be officially announced, and will be good. That'll be all. I think that'll be all of the legendaries.
Yeah. What are they going to do with Volcanion?
Ooh, that's probably going to be a release as
Considering
well.
how long they've left it, I expect there's going to be a big hubbub around it.
There
They're not
will
just going to say, "Oh, hey, here it is.
there
Go
will
get it."
probably be a big hype up circle
The
regarding it,
next
but
movie, perhaps.
no, the next movie is already teasing Zygarde form. So
Oh yeah. I wonder if
yeah,
they're gonna have Volcanion in that one then.
that would be an interesting thing. I'm certainly hoping that we get Volcanion soon because the
That'd be
rumor mill.
cool. That'd be cool if they could announce Volcanion in that movie and no one knew until then. That's happened at least once before with the
That would be
Charizard.
amazing. I think it happened with the last one too, when they suddenly just came out and announced the Zygarde thing.
No, no, no. But I
But
mean, like that thing with Charizard X, I think it was, but no one knew it existed until the Mega Evolution special. No, not that one. The Red and Blue remake episode. Remember? Where at the end
yeah,
of it, it revealed that and no one knew about it until then. That was
that
awesome.
that would be great. Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm hoping. I'm sincerely hoping for some. The Pokemon Generation 7 rumor mill has already started in earnest. So there's definitely that.
I'm
Um,
excited to see when and what they announce.
oh, interestingly, and this has completely nothing to do with Pokemon, but it's an external headline because the concept I imagine is going to be used for Pokemon. Um, these came out not too long ago.
Hmm.
These are just the cards. I don't have the game, but
I
they're
can't imagine that's going to be an official game thing.
This isn't gonna. Well, I'm going to guess they're not gonna do this for TCG, but I imagine they're gonna do something like this. Because if they put Pokemon anything like this for, say, Rumble, or anything that has that sort of
Didn't they
functionality,
try having tiny little amiibo like things for
I
the
think
last
that was
Rumble
when they
game?
started experimenting with NFC figures as a concept. But these are
Mm.
actual amiibo. If you look at them. And they've got, I can tell by holding it up to the light, I can see the little actually, if you hold it like that,
Interesting.
there's a tiny little bump. You can see the little NFC trigger on them. Now these are, I believe these might be functional amiibo stuff. So if I load up the Wii U and actually pop this into Amiibo Parade, it's going to register. We'll test afterwards.
Very interesting. I can't imagine they'd do that with every single Pokemon, though. That'd be a bit...
Yeah, well, not every single Pokemon, probably the most popular ones, but like just think about it, because the
It might come into another of the third-party games, I guess, like the smaller ones. I imagine, because those don't always have all of the Pokemon in it. They usually have like a small selection, or at least like a
probably
decent selection. But I reckon that would be a good thing for something like that.
we talk about them having a limited number of Pokemon, and then of course we remember that Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon is going to have all of them.
Yeah, no, isn't that great? That's gonna be great.
Right,
But you know,
like,
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is the first one to have like all of the Pokemon. So
it is, but
while it is a noticeable trend, it's not a guarantee, and it would make it like, as much as it'd be awesome to have cards for literally every single Pokemon, it would kind of make it a bit difficult. So I could imagine they would probably limit that.
they will probably release it in waves. I know this because the Animal Crossing stuff, there's 100 of these cards, I think, in the collection, and I don't know if they're releasing anymore, but that is a crazy, like, for an Animal Crossing game, that's an insane amount.
Oh, definitely.
For
100 is manageable, though.
Yeah, for Pokemon, I think the Wave 1 would actually work well as that, as 100 different Pokemon.
If they released each wave corresponding to generations, so the first wave would be like 151.
Oh, man. That would be amazing.
It'd be manageable then, actually. They could probably pull that off. If they wanted to make this a long-term thing, it can't be a short-term thing.
So I've been told that apparently, as far as amiibos are concerned, there have been more than 10.5 million amiibos sold.
Oh, it's very
worldwide.
popular.
Oh man,
I'd buy this thing even if I didn't have amiibo functionality.
Really amazing about this. Apparently, it is now there. It's now Nintendo's biggest income stream.
That's done well then.
Which is really funny because they were a latecomer into the Toys to Life market. So the two biggest, like the current biggest, like Nintendo, I think has the biggest in terms of like share. I believe it's Nintendo and Activision Skylanders, right? And surprisingly, Lego Dimensions.
Yeah.
It beats 3 waves of Disney Infinity. How the hell do you do that?
Nintendo.
No. I mean,
Everybody loves Nintendo.
Like Lego Dimensions did that. Nintendo, I can totally understand them doing that, because if you see the sheer amount of amiibo there are now, look, imagine if we tried to collect every single amiibo out there.
We don't have the money.
Yeah, no, including the...
That'd be one of the things I would actually love to have a perfect collection of. And it's not too late to start for anyone who actually wants to, but yeah. My God, it's too much money.
The money and the time as well, because EB contacted me about whether or not I was interested, considering I got all 3 of the Woolly Yoshi amiibo, to order the Mega Yarn plush amiibo. And I said no, because I don't need a plushy sized plush amiibo as it is.
We can get a regular Yoshi.
Yeah, I've been tempted to get the Mii Fighter just because it can store Mii Fighter data. Like the Mii Sword Fighter. And that is like the only new amiibo I've been interested in getting thus far. Although Mewtwo's coming out soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Have we downloaded him yet?
No.
We should.
Yeah.
I think there was a limit on that.
Yeah, we might have to buy Mewtwo
Ah,
now. Yeah. There's a bunch of DLC coming out as well. Like I would like to get Ryu in the game as well, but we don't play Smash on the Wii U enough to actually justify grabbing all of this stuff yet.
I know. Same
In
thing
fact,
with Hyrule Warriors. Like, I want to buy a whole bunch of Hyrule Warriors characters, but I don't play Hyrule
we
Warriors.
have a significant amount that you can probably get a lot of replayability out of it right now,
I
and then
know, but I
afterwards
don't
getting the
play it.
DLC.
I
Um,
know.
yeah, right now right now our big sinks are what GTA Online and Rock Band.
Oh, Rock Band's only been for the last 2 days, though.
That's true, and I already have like 500 songs for it, so I'm not worried about Rock Band. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's move on from that stuff to the cute stuff. Qatari sets.
Qatari sets come out and blow the internet with their cuteness. Great title, you know. The Pokemon Center has a
Blow
new
up
plushie
internet.
line. Cyndaquil, Mew, Lucario, Sylveon, Leafeon, and Glaceon have been transformed into a shoulder body with both awake and asleep versions. These plushies can be mounted on your shoulder or anywhere else you can perch it for maximum cuteness.
These ones, the Cyndaquil, Mew, Lucario, Sylveon, Leafeon, and Glaceon. These are actually the third wave of the Qatari figures. Let's see what. Yeah, Pokemon Center US is selling these as well.
Ooh.
They've got Eevee, Jolteon, Flareon, Pikachu, Raichu, and Vaporeon, I think, in that other batch. So let me let's actually let me get the image for the first and second batches, and then I will promptly display it on here. To be patient. Okay, that's the first wave of Qatari. That's oh god, where'd my browser go? Nope, I think I loaded up the wrong browser window. Bugger! Oh god, I loaded up the wrong browser window again. All right, second wave. Second wave includes let's see, Slowpoke, Mudkip, Charmander, Esper, Espeon, and Umbreon.
I'd like a Slowpoke one.
Oh, I love the Esper one because the Esper one still has that desk there.
Oh my god, that would be amazing to have on your shoulder.
Oh, okay, all right. Let's bring these out. Okay, so Wave on Qatari. Let me share this page with you guys right now. That's it. Share. Okay, you should be able to see this now. So that's sorry. Hold on, let me hold the screen. Okay, all right. That's wave one. And I'm not even kidding. I want that Eevee. This
the awake one or the asleep one?
The asleep one.
Asleep one.
So good. This is wave 2. So you can see right on that section there. Oh, Esper.
Its eyes are too small. It's not scary enough. I like the Charmander there. Look at that. That's adorable.
That's awesome. It looks like the Pokemon Shuffle icon for Charmander, actually. It
does actually, yeah.
Yeah. I think Espeon and Slowpoke are the two other ones that stick out for me, and yeah, I would just carry Esper because it's a Pokemon not many non-Pokemon people know about. They could just have mounted on your shoulder and have it like stare at people. And of course, this is the third. Oops, sorry, one too many headlines ahead. This is the the third batch. Not much difference between Cyndaquils and this one. The Mew one looks really adorable asleep. So does the Sylveon. It's so good. I really want the Eevee. I'm telling Geodude. Geodude has to ship us the Eevee.
Definitely.
Okay. Cool. Let's go on to our next headline. Oh, by the way, Qatari Pokemon Wave 1 is available at Pokemon Center US. So if you live there, you lucky bastards, you can get access to it. Should be at the Nintendo World Store in New York as well. For the rest of us, Pokemon Center Japan, or the people in Japan that we know that we can coerce to grab these things. Right. Let's move on to some Pokebots.
Pokebutts for more merchandise for the Pokemon Center, but this one has an amusing twist of depicting the other end of our adorable companions. The idea behind this is that the Pokemon have gotten stuck and are sticking out of whatever you choose to place them, meaning there is both a front piece and a back piece available for each Pokemon. But the rear end collection includes badges, cushions, unisex underwear, coffee mugs, pass cases, keychains, eco bags, pouches, coasters, hand towels, magnets, A4 clear files, and masking tape, most of which don't actually come with the front end.
Is this the weirdest concept you've ever seen for Pokemon merchandise? This is the weirdest official one, by far.
This is very Japan.
This is like, oh, Japan. Oh, never cease being amazing. This is courtesy of PokeShopper, obviously, which has got their previews up. Oh, that is
both large and small versions.
Oh, butts for all sizes, really. I can see. I think isn't that the Dynamo? Isn't that a Dynamo butt on the top?
No, that's Azumarill.
Is it that? No, Azumarill? Oh yeah, it is.
Azumarill.
Sorry, the markings kind of threw me off. Sorry, my bad.
Close to a Dynamo. There's got a Weasel there. Weasel, Growlithe, Pikachu, Piplup, Swablu, and Azumarill.
Yeah. Oh man, Pokebuts. Oh, these are not butt pillows, although they are literally butt pillows.
They're butt cushions.
They're butt cushions. Oh, I'm not even gonna bother pulling up what the unisex underwear looks like, but suffice to say,
it's actually quite nice. It looks cool.
It's cute.
It's very cute.
It's cute. I need to get me a pair. No approval.
Look, nothing? I'm not gonna judge you.
Yeah. Okay, sure. You're not gonna judge me.
No, I'm not gonna judge you.
All right.
You're allowed to wear Pikachu underwear if you want to.
Yes. Okay. Another thing for the Geodude. Yeah, let's make this awkward. Hey, I want you to get an Eevee Katari plushie that's asleep. Yeah, I want you to get Eevee Katari plushie that's asleep. Okay, what else do you need? Oh, look, if you can find some Pokemon Toretta stuff, that'd be great. All right, anything else? Yeah, could you please get me a large Pokebutts boxer shorts? Awkward silence. It's like, what are you making me do? I swear to everyone, if I do get these, I'm going to show them, but there is no way on earth. You cannot pay me enough money to model these. There is no way. I'm sorry. I need to get rid. I need to figure out first before I model these.
Exactly how much money they'd have to pay you to do it.
Enough for me to undergo a strict fitness regimen to actually end up with a figure worthy of modeling these. That's how much. Okay. I've just spoken too much there. Kick-ass new promo cards coming out for Japan.
An awesome-looking full-art Pikachu promo is available for anyone who participates in Japan's Battle Fiesta tournament next month. The card art shows Pikachu leaping towards the viewer with Hoopa, Break, Zoroark, Mega, Mewtwo X, and Y in the background. Players who win enough points in the tournament can get a Mewtwo, Bronzong, or Empoleon Break promo card. Isn't that cute?
It looks amazing. It's 60 HP, requires 3 energy to use the sole attack it has.
To be fair, though, the solo attack does 100 damage.
It is 100 damage, but it's also 3 energy, and it's a 60 HP Pokemon, which means you have to have this in your bench at the start.
Yeah.
Still, looking pretty kick-ass. I would like this promo card, thanks. So, oh man, Battle Fiesta. Why don't we have these events here? We have pre-release tournaments, and that's about it.
I wonder why the Break Pokemon are gold.
I don't know. Was it somebody pointed out that these are essentially like the textures on the Pokemon look a lot better than the gold on the break Pokemon. So
Yeah.
Pikachu looks great. This is done by 5ban. 5ban have been doing like the CG models for Pokemon a lot. If you've seen any of the stuff that's come out during the XY TCG days, all of the CG looking stuff has been done by Goban, 5ban. But they're getting better at it. It's clear that they're getting better at it. It looks
Oh
amazing.
yeah. The
Um,
old ones used to look really fake, I guess.
yeah, they looked really like plasticky and textury, whereas this
Yeah.
one still looks a bit plasticky and textury, but at least it's like super pretty to look at while being plasticky and
It's a
textury.
lot nicer, yeah.
Yeah. And then they come out with the break Pokemon, which is just okay. Let's model the Pokemon, but instead of actually applying proper textures to it, let's just put a pearlescent gold coat on it.
Yeah.
So it looks like retro
I
in the sense
kind
that
of
it's super
hope
retro
that it
90s.
doesn't end up being a main game thing if that's what it's going to look like.
Break Pokemon. You never
It looks
know.
really lazy.
There's a bunch of concepts coming out now for Pokemon, and no word of the main game. So it remains to be seen what they're going to do with the franchise as a whole. But it's that old now. I wouldn't blame them for attempting to move into one territory or another. Speaking of which, would there be any feature they would introduce into the game that would turn you off the game completely?
None that I can think of.
Yeah.
It
There's
wouldn't
only
turn me off the game completely. I just probably wouldn't like it very much.
what?
But Nintendo has the habit, like the Pokemon company has a habit of not transferring features across games. So, like, even if there was a feature in one game that I didn't like, I would not expect it to be in the next one.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks. Customizable trainers.
To be fair, if they do that Pokemon human meld thing like the Greninja, it will be really difficult to implement that with customizable trainers.
I don't mind if we do that, because that would be weird, but okay. I get to see the character in different skins. But if they don't implement that and the game comes out with no customizable trainers, I'm still gonna be pretty miffed. Like I'm half expecting customizable trainers in Pokemon Go, and we don't have any details about that game yet.
I imagine. Imagine for Pokemon Go, they'd probably sooner use a photo of you, sort of like as an avatar, or they'd have maybe a few trainer pictures just in case you don't want to use a photo of you. But I would sooner assume that's what they'd go for, because they're trying to bring out that whole real world sort of thing, and in the real world, you've already got your face. So
it's been about a month since they've announced Pokemon Go, and as yet there is no news about Pokemon Go.
they like to make us wait.
I know. I really like. I love the fact that they trickle the information so well. I hate the fact that they trickle the information so well.
Yeah.
I want it so
Torture.
bad. I know. I do want it so. I would like. I don't care about the in-app purchases. This is one of
This is probably one of the few things that I would actually consider doing the.
Oh yeah, I would IAP this thing to crap. It would be great. And we would probably go ahead and get the Pokemon Go Plus things anyway. Because why not?
Oh, I know. I'm definitely getting the Plus thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so like things are changing for things are changing for Pokemon. Although like the exact direction where they're going, I'm not partial to whichever.
I do doubt they will. I honestly doubt they'll ever stop doing the main games. Because that
Oh,
gets them a hell of a lot
they'll
of
never
money.
stop doing the main games. They'll just find ways to innovate with the side games and then bring some of those
That's good
features.
because the side games have always been really, really crap, save for a few niche franchises like
Like Ranger
Pokemon
and
Dungeon and Ranger. Those are two are probably the only really good ones.
yeah, Rumble. I had
Excited to
so
see what
much.
they do.
I had so much
Rumble
hope for
was
Rumble.
okay. Rumble was okay, but it was always kind of small.
It wasn't that it was small. It's that there is this power grind mechanic that you have to play. Like you'll have Pokemon in the Pokemon main games. You'd have the Pokemon that you'd play around with, right? And you could keep like you'd have your starter and like one or two other Pokemon that throughout your main game journey would stay with you. They'd be part of your lineup and they would grow with you and they'd be more powerful and they'd level up. This doesn't happen with Rumble. You switch to the next most, like you essentially switch to the most powerful Pokemon with an element that you need for with an element that you need for a course.
Well, they don't have that with Ranger either. You don't keep anything in Ranger.
But Ranger's core, yeah, but that's Ranger's core mechanic. Ranger's core mechanic is that you can't keep anything; you let them go. But with Rumble, you do keep them. Why you keep them, I don't know. Like
collection.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of like how many Pikachu do I have on my Pokemon Rumble World file now?
You're supposed to delete them all except for one.
Oh,
actually,
delete.
honestly, I think you could delete them all, but
yeah, pretty sure you can. But it's kind of like you reach that point where you're like, dude, how much? Huh?
I like having at least one of each.
Oh yeah, it's just that do I want to spend my time micromanaging my Pokemon collection or playing the game?
The biggest downside I find with Rumble is that when you finally get a Pokemon that's got great attacks or great ability or anything like that you really, really like, it doesn't actually stick around for long. It's not long before you move on and it's too weak.
But
so
that's
it
what
kind of negates it makes it less worthwhile to power them up, like give them new moves or to make them a mega or anything like that, because you're not going to have them for much longer. Like these sorts of things would be useful in endgame, but once you're in endgame, you don't really need it anymore. So either I can spend all of my money on powering up this one Pokemon that I'll use for maybe 3 more levels, and then I'll have something even stronger, or I just don't bother.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
For that game, there's just not much worth actually raising one of your Pokemon, you know.
But that's what I mean about the that's what I mean about the power mechanic is that as you move up, you get more and more powerful Pokemon, and then you look at the current one, your mainstay. It's like I could swap you out now, and it's kind of like it's really weird to do that because usually you do that in the Pokemon main game simply because they meld better with your team as a whole. Like you choose it for more than just this thing has a higher power value and greater star attacks than the rest of them. It's like, yeah, you may have a lesser power value, but I need to train you up so you can like move into your more powerful form. That sort of thing, which is completely missing in Rumble. You cannot take a Pokemon in Rumble and improve it unless you're playing Pokemon Rumble U. And even then, those are limited to like the NFC figures. So like it's that's the one thing I want to see out of Rumble is some way to at least eke out the power instead of constantly discarding Pokemon for other things. Like I get that they're toys, but it's still really weird. Like customize Pokemon, please. I can't customize. I can actually customize trainers in Pokemon Rumble World. That's like its primary redeeming factor for me. Is that I can wear a nurse's outfit if I so choose. Anyway,
yes, if you choose.
If I choose, it's not mandatory. It's a comfort thing. Anyway, on the side note, before we move on to the IPL news, the pre-release promo, because Breakthrough is actually coming out, would you believe it, is Chestnut. It's just a Chestnut promotional card. I believe it's a Stage 2 evolution.
Yeah.
Which will this will pretty much, like, as much as I like that they're doing this because it ties in with the mechanic, and Chestnut Break is actually one of the Pokemon in the initial set, I'm not happy about the fact that they're using it on a Stage 2. because it's kind of like the somebody explained that break Pokemon are essentially minor upgrades to stage upgrades. So instead of like Zoroark break is a break Pokemon you put on top of a stage 1 card, which means it's essentially functionally a stage 2 Pokemon.
Interestingly, this chestnut isn't gold.
That's
And
not.
it
It's
doesn't
not.
have break in the name. It's down in the corner of the picture. It says breakthrough.
Oh no, it's. I think it's because it's not the break. It's the non-break version, and then you put the break card on top of it. And somebody explained. Yeah, and somebody explained it's essentially a minor upgrade for less investment time than it would take for you to move up for a stage, but at the same time, the break cards don't apparently count as Pokemon. There's been I think there's been a rules clarification that's pointed out that you cannot use Pokemon Seek cards to bring the break cards into play. You can't use you can't use
So you can't use Pokeball, you have to use Item Finder.
Yeah. Something like that. I'm not sure what the actual mechanics are, but I'm interested to see how this plays out, or how they actually use it as a mechanic, or what card type it belongs into, because that's important. If the ability to draw a break card if they give priority to the ability to draw a break card, that might actually be advantageous in a competitive scene, because getting the break card out quickly would actually justify the expense, justify what you need to bring in.
You still have to level the Pokemon up though, so it is more of a long-term investment than the Mega Evolution was.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, is that how are they like, break evolution as a concept is interesting. The fact that it seems to be a temporary thing on top of an existing Pokemon is to me sounds really cool. The only question is, how are you, like, this doesn't have the same penalties as EX, but EX has so much more firepower going in. And right now the EXs have so much flexibility with the decks being built to cater for them, that it's a question of how do you...
it's faster to get the EX out, so in order for the break Pokemon to be worth it, considering the investment you have to put into it, they'd have to end up being stronger than the EX.
You know, but I was like, if I look at Chestnut Break, it's not that Chestnut Break isn't crazy. Chestnut Break is what, 190 HP.
That's before you actually put the break card on it. So the break card itself would have to make it more worthwhile than the
the break card is 190 HP.
Oh.
Yeah. The non-break hold on. I'm looking for the text for the Chestnut promo. I love being able to type that fast now.
160 HP with a 60 power and 100 power attack.
So it keeps the Spike Lariat and Adamantine Press attack. So that's good.
It has the same HP.
Yeah. So it's got 160 HP here versus 190 HP in the break version.
Okay, so the HP goes up.
Yep. The HP goes up and it gains an additional attack. So it gets to keep all of the existing attacks. Still has the same retreat cost. Still has the same weakness.
The additional attack would have to be worth it, though.
The additional attack is 160 damage, does 30 damage to itself, 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So it's not a bad trade-off,
I guess.
And the energy cost for the thing is the same as Adamantine Press. It's two
not bad for the damage.
Two grass, two colorless. Yeah. As far as, like I said, but it's all down to how fast can you deploy.
It's going to take at least 4 turns, because you've got to have the chest pin, then you've got to evolve it in the next turn, and you've got to evolve it in the next turn. And depending on whether or not you can then immediately put the break down, it might take another turn. I guess since it's considered an item, you could actually put it down immediately.
I'm going to imagine that the... let me check a particular ruling on this.
But, like, this is if you have all of the cards in your hand, or if you have item cards that can allow you to get all the cards in your hand.
But I believe you can bypass the stage. I believe you can bypass the stage 1 evolution by using rare candy.
You can, but that's another card you have to have, you know?
I know, but rare candy is a lot easier to look for with item finder than the stage 1. And it's less time because you can just instead of
But in that
loading.
case, you essentially have to have both the base stage and the stage 2 in your hand, as well as a means of getting a rare candy and the promo card and the break card.
Rare candy is not that like rare candy. I would imagine is not that hard to stock into the deck, and if you have shuffle draw mechanics the same way you had with Oak or.
But it's a lot more work to get all this, and you've got to have a deck built for pulling out both Pokemon and item cards to make this work.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I said, it's going to have to require a rethink about how decks that cater to break Pokemon are built. But in terms of the speed investment and getting them out, I reckon they could get them out really, really quickly.
Well, no doubt. In the professional tournaments, I reckon they'll have that down pat. But I'm just saying it is considering the amount of effort you'd have to put into it to get this set up. Yeah. You would hope that it would be more worthwhile than an EX.
Yeah.
Because EX, you can just put that straight down. Most of them are legendaries.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I think they're still subject to. I think they're still subject to Sigilyph.
Yeah, but it would be easier to plan around Sigilyph than it would even then to set up these break cards.
Yeah. Sigilyph's great as a blocker, but it's been countered so well now. All right. So anyway, that's it. I'm sorry it's been a TCG heavy week, but honestly, there has been no news in the pipeline besides Pokemon butts and Pokemon shoulder-mounted weaponry. I mean, shoulder-mounted plushies. So we'll have to move on to some IPL news. The Gallery of Portraits. Gino, hey, that's me. Is embarking on a project to create a library of IPLcast style sprites to use on various projects related to the IPL and the IPLcast. The first order of business being to refresh the sprites on the IPLcast titles. So I am going to load up our IPLcast page because that's where we live on the internet. And by the time I get there, you should notice that I have actually, if I scroll down a bit here, so we've got the new sprites already populating the IPLcast titling. And the style is consistent across most of the characters, so we've got a few of them. So if I go over to Journal, there we go. These kinds of sprites. So they're not like pixel sprites or anything. Where the hell did I go?
Very cool.
Yes. Yeah, they're not pixel sprites or anything. They're just character sprites for particular trainers. I'm picking them 6 at a time. And I can probably tell you guys what I'm working on for the next batch. I usually try not to, but it's not that I don't try to. I usually don't tell people what I'm working on before it all comes up there. But I've already made my selection. This has been edited at least 4 times since I started last night. So where? Okay, so I'll stop sharing that and I'll share something else.
Have you seen the latest thing that Mission Sunshine has given you?
Yes, I have. It looks great. I have to write feedback, but I'm formulating what to write back. So okay, I'm gonna share this now. The 6 for batch 5, I think it is. Let me get around to it. My bad. There we go. Share. All right. For the next batch, we have Carl, Paiva, I think. Nemo, Lenina Walker, GM Shignell, Anthony, and Melanie. So that's the next batch.
Cool.
Next batch coming up. Again, if you wanted to get if you wanted to see your character featured in it, just be patient. I'll eventually get around to them. If you are if you've seen your sprite or anything and you want tweaks to it, drop a message on the page so I can actually cover the changes and everything. Not that many crazy changes, just like, oh, can you do this and can you do that? Like, what is it? Galactic Pink asked us to change Prue's hairstyle to pink from black because I think she's going to update her trainer card soon. So I'm like, yeah, done. Which is why her hair is pink. Sorry if you guys didn't recognize that when she first came out. And I think, was it Faline Fire changed her appearance completely. So I just redid that, and that looks great. And yeah, my favorite one, or my favorite comment from somebody when it came to the sprites came from Renee, who is Lupa Silve, who does Renee. And her, like, I told her I was trying to get the expression right on Renee because she's kind of like mildly ditzy, somewhat like confused. And apparently I nailed the expression, so I'm happy about that. What is it? Rio was saying that this was the, what was it? This is a very dour looking group of all of them. Usually at least half of them are smiling. Here, one of them is smiling awkwardly, one has a neutral expression, two of them are smiling mildly, and two of them are angry. So, it's I base it off the portrait from the trainer card. So, like, Aisha looks neutral, which is why she's been drawn as neutral. Also, Aisha is 6'1". She's as tall as me. What the hell? That's been pretty. That's yeah. I'm quite surprised by that, actually. All right, next up, Reverence Core Teen Generation rules incoming. We're actually going forward with Reverence Core. So happy. There's been some mild technical rehashing going on behind the scenes. I've been reevaluating some of the stats that we use for generating stuff. Excuse me, and how the entire system works. Classes are still going to be retained. That's the important thing for me. The streamlining for RevCore that started in July continues in preparation for Color City Culverts, which is that small adventure. We've gotten the art for that. That looks great. So this is a test to see how well the minor mission mechanics perform under stress. So really sorry for the lack of updates. Really sorry we haven't been putting up any RevCore updates, but all future updates from this point are going up on reverencecore.deviantart.com. So do not look for them on the IPL. I will happily link over to where RevCore is. We'll also be including Reverence Core as a link on our regular YouTube spiel starting in IPLcast, either IPLcast 37 or the next addendum. So I wasn't able to do the last one. Scheduling conflicts, and there weren't that many headlines to cover anyway. Okay, so now that that's settled, we've got about 15 minutes left to do this next section, and this has been a while waiting. We're bringing back the battle analysis, folks.
Hooray!
Hooray! This is something that I think you actually critiqued on.
Yep,
so
that was me.
I will let you have a go at this. Because, hey, this is your turn.
There's not much really to add than what I put in the actual verdict description.
I'll throw my 2 cents in, but
because I've essentially already given my opinion on this, and if anyone wants to see it, they can see it in the concluded battles section.
Yes, I will also show it here. This is the other thing I'm going to do. I'm probably going to toss in their sprites once I get around to doing it, but unfortunately, this is both. This is Lunic and the Unaware thing. And as it happens, if you've read the journal, these are the 2 exceptions. I have modeled them after what I think they look like in real life, as opposed to what they look like in their Pokemon cards, because they make appearances in IPLcast. And I have a tendency to like do more IRL portraits for IPLcast than I do for anything else. All right, so let's look at Lunix stuff. Hey. Are they both fighting with both fighting with Doublade?
Lunic has a double-blade, and
The age,
what's his name has an
the
Age Slash.
yeah. Nicely, like my opinion here is nicely done. I love the minor bloom effects. I love the fact that they're saving white, so it comes off a lot more luminescent than it is because they're using a lot of like they're controlling the lack of light in.
I love the background.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of this entire thing.
I do like the background. It's a little more stage paper cut outy thing than like.
I attribute that more to the angle than anything. I think the background looks pretty good for a scenery.
Oh no! It like I don't. It looks great. It to me it looks like a diorama instead of scenery.
No, see, the reason why it looks kind of flat is because of how dark the lighting is. It doesn't show shadows as strongly because the rest of it's already dark. So it obviously comes out as more flat. So if this was light, I would probably complain that the shadows aren't strong enough and it doesn't
But
look depth enough. But because it's so dark, it's already going to look pretty flat.
I know, but that aside, there is a very thin light outline going around the edges of the main, like the balustrades, the columns, and that sticks it out further rather than melding it in. When you have darkness, you have melding of details. You don't necessarily like you can see a lot of the detail based on what the light is, the reflectivity of the light around the area, but you don't have as much object to object detail. Like one object might meld into another, but here, this entire construct, this entire column piece looks like one solid piece, whereas the thing behind it also looks like one solid piece. Like the two pieces here really close to the foreground look more like disparate pieces of kit. They're not like they're actually rubble than the two pieces at the very back.
Well, the two pieces at the front are going to be clearer because they're closer.
No. It's not the clarity. It's not the like. I'm not talking about.
You mean the sharpness of the lines?
No. I'm not even talking about the sharpness of the lines. I'm talking about definition of objects. If you look at the if you look at the col like if you look at the sections where the columns are, the details are great. I'm not complaining about the details. The details look great, especially under the way they've been treated with the light. But what I'm seeing here is that this section of columns sticks out a lot. They look like a really flat surface in comparison to the things immediately behind it. Like the things behind it have shade, the things behind it have dimension. Like the thing, but this columnade here where my mouse cursor is swinging around, that looks like an extremely flat piece in comparison to everything else around it. Do you get me? It's not a major criticism of the piece. It's just something that actually does stick out because it looks so odd in comparison to everything else. If you look at the colonnades up here, you can see all of the detail doesn't need to be there because it's so close to the light. The light kills the details. Once you're moving in, there's some detail there that's great. But again, you have this. If I am going to point it here, you see this thing? This is a very mild white outline. And I wouldn't mind it so much if it was in the way of the light, but you can also see it here. You can also see it here. You can see it here. And that helps stick it out from the rest of the background. And I don't know, like as an effect, it's okay, but it tells me that this is one contiguous piece instead of like a three-dimensional object. Do you get me? This looks more.
But I have to disagree. Like,
okay, that's fine. To me, the rest of the stuff looks great. This thing here, entire assembly.
That bit is supposed to stick out. It's supposed to look separate from the rest because the rest of the columns are behind it, considerably behind it, considering how much detail is there. But that bit is closer to us, it's going to have a bit more detail in it because it is closer to that beam of light. As intense and focused as that beam of light is, there is going to be some scatter, and that, I interpret, is why you can see more detail on that bit.
But it's not a
And it
question
will
of
look further out. It will look kind of flat because it's straight. It is straight compared to the angle we're at.
no, but I get where you're going at in terms of, but I don't think you're getting what I mean. It looks like a paper cutout compared to the other objects in here. Right?
I don't
It's
know.
got,
I
it's
still
got,
don't quite grasp what you're trying to say.
okay. Everything else in here looks like it's part of the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And although you can see although there's this little bit of outlining on this end and a little bit of outlining here, and where else can we find outlining? Not much else. This is further back from the plane, right? It's completely blurred. If he got rid of this detail, this little white outline here, this thing pretty much that forms a stroke around every part of this object.
Okay.
Then it wouldn't stick out so much, like it wouldn't look so incredibly flat. It would actually have some degree of dimension to it. I'm not saying it's flat. Sorry, I'm not disputing that it's flat because it's front on. I get that. And you can actually see where he's tried to put in the dimensions. He's tried to put in some dimension and some reflectivity because of the light, because he's casting shadows over here. But what I mean to say, it as an overall contiguous object, this sticks out. I'm half expecting a drop shadow here because there is a highlight line traveling all across the object. You get me? Instead of being able to blend with the shadows, there is something that is forcing it so far out of the background that it looks like a separate object. So I could basically say layer, 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 and then everything else is in this beautiful mishmash of depth at the back behind it.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, this looks great. The action lines are brilliant. The composition, the staging is awesome. As long as I don't tilt my eyes up too far above these guys, and these guys are the center of focus anyway. But now that I'm looking at the piece as overall, this is the only real bit I have a problem with. Everything in this piece looks great.
I can see what you mean, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't quite agree with you.
But that's fair.
I can see how that line makes it stick out a bit, but I don't feel it as much of a detriment as you seem to.
Oh, at this point, I'm nitpicking. I'm basically honing in on the one thing that I find problematic about the whole piece. Like, you haven't heard...
Surprisingly, considering how much you've focused on that tiny weeny detail, you haven't noticed the other bits.
Yeah, I've seen some of the detail in the background.
No, nothing to do with the background. This is the bit that you said that is the entire focus of the picture, and you haven't noticed it.
What have I not noticed?
See if you can spot it. It's to do with their poses. This is a point of critique in my verdict.
Okay. Would you like to point it out? The
It's their positioning. So if you notice, the way the white movement line coming from Lunix Doubleade, you can see that from our perspective is in front of what's his name?
Res.
Res, yes. It's in front of Res. You see that?
Yeah. Oh.
But his Lunix right foot is behind Res's, as well as the trail from the left-hand doublade, whereas these things would logically be in front because that's where we see the swing coming from.
Yeah, I see where you're getting at. I'm trying to figure out the logic that would end up with him with his right foot behind Ress.
Also, Ress's left arm holding the Agi/blade.
Oh, it's directly it hoops
it
underneath.
goes behind his leg, but the blade itself goes in
Comes
front.
out in front.
You see what I mean? That is why that was the big issue I found with this picture. The background I find is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it as far as I can see.
Where was the strike? The strike looked like it cut across his leg. Or is that
it
his
goes
chest?
from his leg up to his arm, so it slashes across from our perspective in front of him. You see? But by that logic, Lunik should be completely in front.
Yeah, that arm placement is...
They're even in the exact same spot on the carpet. They're in the middle of it. Whereas Ress should be further back and Lunik should be further forward. I didn't mention that in my verdict. There's the same concept applies.
Weird. Would you think a larger spotlight and figure separation have done? It feels like
the spotlight itself is fine. I actually really like how they've got beams of light in it because that's actually how it looks in dusty places. So I quite like that.
Now that I'm looking at it, it's really weird. It feels like the layer where Lunik is, or the layer where Colt is, should be in front, just because of where I think the doublade on his left hand, the cloth attached to it is meant to land.
Yeah.
Because to have to swing that far that it would go behind Ress.
It's not going behind him. That's the thing. But
no.
The left-handed doublade is, yeah.
Yeah. The left hand, the cloth on the left hand doublade is completely behind Ress, and that would only be possible if the strike came from the opposite side.
I know, but as we see, the impact damage is on.
Side of, so it just feels like it feels like there was an odd layer switcheroo, but then I remember that, like, if I remember how Lunik works, this is a flat image mostly. I don't know if it's layered or anything, but there may have been a layer switcheroo.
Well,
that
probably.
That arm is
what programming is. Yeah, like as my critique goes, I honestly have no issue with the background whatsoever. I think, considering the style, even if each layer, as you say, it looks flat, it looks fine. It suits it. I'm happy with that. It was just mostly the posing on those two that I had an issue with.
Yeah, I know, but this speaks to how different judges approach works. Whereas I'd be like, my thing is, if all of the layers were like this, were like the column layer, I wouldn't have a problem with that, because that carries, like, it actually keeps the look in. Nothing sticks out. Anyway, Colt
sort of does a little bit if you think about it.
They
all have that white line on them.
They do, but the difference between
the one in the far background, which makes sense.
Like, okay, foreground objects, like, let's not bring this discussion about details, but the outline is designed so it reflects the light coming in, or the light surrounding. The objects in the background are very, like, although they've got the white outline around them, they're blurred, so they don't look like they stick out as much in terms of being objects. But this is a flat wall at the back, and it looks like it's got some three-dimensionality around it, and this has no outlines around it because of the fact that you've got lack of detail. But it's not blurred the same way these objects are on the level on the plane. These are just, they don't even have outlines. These are just background things. So, like, if you lend that that just makes this stick out more. It's a completely, like, it's a mildly different shade from the other objects on the same plane of vision, and it's got the mild outline. But like I said, it's It's an aesthetic. It's an aesthetic thing, and I can see some stroke marks around here as well, which I think are erasure marks. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Totally minor. I just noticed that. Anyway, let's move on to let's move on
I reckon
to
it looks like even if that was an accident, it works in with the detail and the beam of light.
It totally works in. It looks like mild dusty smoke kind of thing. Anyway, oh geez.
I love
Sorry.
the detail in this one, honestly.
Oh man, so much detail. The fur is so good, and the fact that it's backlit looks really great. Does the angle of the effect look odd to you?
I think only because of the background.
Probably. It's like
it's supposed to be
odd.
that it's created a crater in the ground where they're standing because of the impact, but it doesn't quite feel like it stretches out enough.
Yeah.
I didn't mention this in my verdict. The main thing I had an issue with was the slacking of it, essentially. You can tell how it's moving. You can see the force of its movement coming down, but you can't really. My problem was you can't see where its arms are.
Oh, I have to really look at to see the hands.
You can't really see the hands either. Like I think those are feet, but it just makes the pose just looks really. It just looks quite a bit awkward, considering you can't see the arms. Like even if they were drawn in, there's no separation from the body and where the leg is, so you simply cannot see it, and it just makes it look like it makes the attack look a bit awkward because you can't really tell where it's coming from.
There is some separation, but it's not sufficient. I can see the arm being drawn here. You can see some of the detail on this end. You can't really see it from the other end. These are the hands, but it's so obscured by the effect and the fact that there is a rock here that you cannot put two and two together. Like this is a detail you really.
I just didn't see it.
Yeah, it looks like it's just got 2 feet sticking out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Weird. It's a weird ball of fur.
That was just. I know where the hands are supposed to be because I can imagine that's where that purple impact is. But being unable to see the arms themselves, you just can't see it. So it makes the impact look strange because the only hand that you can see is the Gallades, which is going up, but the impact lines are not that direction, you know? So it just looked very strange to me. Like my eyes just can't pick it up the way I'm sure it's supposed to be picked up.
Yeah, I could see the details, but none of it are lending me to distinguish limb from limb. Okay.
That was the issue I had with this. I really like the angle.
Yeah, the angle's interesting.
Applies a lot of power with that slacking.
I like the way he used I like the way he positioned the lighting as well. Looks really good. It's an interesting way to set the shot. Yeah, no. That's a major glaring thing with the slacking's limbs, though. So who did you give this battle to?
I gave the verdict to the unaware thing simply because overall the battle just like it has some more energy to it. It's a more interesting angle, those sorts of things.
Okay, interesting. This is so in case you guys don't remember, we used to do this a lot where we'd have battle analyses and everything. And now that the battles have slowed down somewhat, we're going to do these occasionally, but this isn't going to be an IPLcast by IPLcast thing. We'll get it back sooner or later. Interesting. Okay, so that brings us up to the end of IPLcast 36. It's mid-afternoon here now. The sun is shining down on me. And, well, what's coming up next? We've got the next batch of IPLcast sprites coming up at some point. We've got the Core City Culverts, or rather the Reverence Core team generation thing. How to generate your party, your first party of up to 4. What else are we doing? The addendum is hopefully coming next week. I'm really crossing my fingers that they announce something mind-blowing that we can actually report on the addendum. And then IPLcast 37. We've been doing this. We've done 36 of these now, not counting all the special videos and everything.
Yeah, no.
Gee, we're so old. We've been doing this since what, 2013, 2014? Been doing it since 2014.
Yeah, actually we have, haven't we?
Yeah, we should really say. Let's bring a cake here for 37, just because we missed our actual. Just because we missed our actual birthday by like forever.
Yeah, when was that?
That was around IPL, before IPLcast 30 for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty far.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just save it until number 40.
No, we should save it until 50.
Why can't I make a cake every time?
We can make a cake every time. We can make a cake from.
I can make one for 40 and 50.
Can we make one for 40 to 50? Can we make one? Can we make one for 40, and then one for 50, but have like tiny things in between? We can manage it. We can do this. This is totally manageable. All right. So anyway, we will leave it there, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you've watched this, don't forget to do the usual YouTubey thingies if you've stuck around long enough. Otherwise, please join us on the IPL. We're still here. All right. We'll see you on IPL. Well, the two of us will see you on IPLcast 37. I'll see you on the next addendum. All right. See ya. Hopefully. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
I forgot to hit the stop broadcast switch. Ah!